Hey everybody, happy Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. Hope you all are having a good week. It's the middle of the week, hump day Wednesday as some call it. And hopefully this has been a good week for you. Fun things have happened, positive things have happened, aha moments have happened. I am Coach Mona with Journey.Of.Purpose Life Coaching, and I want to thank you for joining me, checking out this live feed. It might be more like a video by the time you get to see it today, but I just really appreciate you following and showing your support. I have to say that lately I've had a lot of friends lose family members, friends, or maybe they're just very ill, and the word terminology came to my mind. And I know that may sound kind of strange and maybe I'm not using it in the right tense, but hear me out. I find it interesting. I spent many years working in the medical field, and I always listen to how people talk, how they say, and certain words said one way can mean the same thing as something else, but may not be as positive, as kind, as soft, or maybe it's meant to be a little harder and it comes soft, however that may be. And one way I thought about that this week was when I was talking to a friend, and her father had passed away, and the discussion of using passed away came up and how some people relate to that. Other people have other words that they use for that. But it really brought to mind to me many times in my life and many seasons that I've gone through things, I've been taught or encouraged to learn the terminology for whatever that season is. And you know, I worked in the medical field, so of course we're probably familiar. There's medical terminology, or if you're in a law office, there's law terminology. But even in life situations, there is terminology. So one of the ones I'm just going to bring up is because it has touched my life is adoption, and I've shared on that many times. But when we were going through this, gosh, my oldest is going to be 27 in April. So that was our first adoption. And we probably started the adoption process 2 years before we got our first child. And we had to take many classes, education, things like that. And one of the first things they kind of shared with us was that a lot of people use the terminology that the birth father, birth mother, birth family, whoever gave up their child. And that just kind of wasn't a real positive. Hey Dawn, thanks for joining me. Some people just didn't think that was so positive or endearing, and so we were encouraged to say that the birth mother had placed her child for adoption, or the birth family, birth mother, whoever that involves. Because honestly, when the family, I'll say the family, because a lot of times family is involved, when the birth family is trying to decide what's going to be best, and usually it's the birth mom, what's going to be the best for her baby, you know, it takes a lot of thought and time and many emotions, and I'm sure I can say many tears go into that. So it's placing that baby into a family where she has hopes of a better life, maybe more than she can provide, or whatever the reasoning is. So as we just think about that, those terminology words kind of came to me. So that was one in the arena of the adoption world. The other one I'm going to talk about is in the divorce world, and I have shared also that I am divorced, and I went through a support group after my divorce, and then I also have been following a life coach out of Texas. And yes, coaches see coaches and have their own coaches. And I haven't gotten to work with her yet, but I'm hoping someday to do that. And through these two processes of my divorce, the first time was in divorce care, the support group, and they kind of shared it more if there were children involved. And they explained that instead of saying ex-husband, ex-wife, ex-partner, however you want to say that you would describe, or when you talked about them, it was your son's father, son's dad, children's dad, however you want to say. And I try to follow that. I don't think I mess up on that too much, and yeah, the flow is easier to maybe say ex-spouse or ex-husband, ex-wife, whatever it is, but really it's a sign of respect. And I understand through divorce, many divorces are quite different. Some are amicable, some are not, some are very life-threatening, and I'm not making light of that. It was just a recommendation in the certain circumstance, if it was children involved, that you would say, you know, whatever term fit with you. And so I do try to say my son's dad because, and we are amicable, so I don't have, there's not a lot of danger involved or anything like that, fear or anything. So we're in that place that we do that. But the other one I thought was cute was the coach that I've been following. I've read some of her books. I want to say she says wasband, W-A-S-B-A-N-D, instead was husband. I don't believe it's was husband. I tried to find it back in the book today and I couldn't, but I'm pretty sure it's wasband. And I thought that was kind of a cute way to say it too. But I'm not saying you have to say these things, or I'm telling you to say these things, but kind of think about how we word things when we talk to people. And maybe it's a situational, like I love it when I hear mom-in-laws say daughter-in-love. You know, I was raised with daughter-in-law, but I just think it's really cute and kind of endearing and kind of gives it a different feeling when you call your son's wife a daughter-in-love. So I'm curious, as we think about these words and terminology, what might be some terminology that might be more positive, more complimentary, more sensitive, that maybe you've learned or been taught or consider, or maybe it's something you've brought into yourself. I'm just thinking it'd be interesting to see. I love to learn. I think other people love to learn. So if you could just share that in the box below. And maybe it's something that someone has said to you that's brightened your day or made you feel a little better. You know, there's always ways to do that. And I'm not saying that we need to do it. It came across my heart this week because I've been touched with a lot of these things that people have talked about, and how in a not so happy or positive situation, there might be a little light brought up. So as always, thank you for joining me. Share in the box below. I will be back here on Friday. And remember to enjoy the journey, be empowered, and live on purpose. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.